Alright, today we're going to look at how to polish your glider wing. So we got the label wing set up here on the sawhorses, but before we get started, let's see what products we're going to use. So I'm using the Ferretla line. This is what Pure Glide was using. If you watched his video, it's going to be pretty much the same process. We're going to start with the 350 cut. If you have like a really dirty, you can go with the 200. But 350s work pretty well for me, except on maybe the trailer in a few spots. A little bit coarser maybe would have helped. Then we're going to go to the 700 polish. This will get it glossy and like shinier. And then we're going to throw some polymer wax on there. So I'll put the links to all of these in the description. Our polisher, I got this, it's not a Makita, it's just like cheap Amazon one. And I'll put the link to that as well. It's not bad, it gets the job done, you just gotta figure out. So we're probably gonna be around 1 to 2 on most of the settings. The bottle tells you the RPMs with the different pads. So both these pads, Ferretla sells them, and they're pretty good, they last pretty long. I've used both of these the entire time. When they get caked up, make sure you have a bucket of water. You can wash it, you can just like get the oxidation and everything out, because like you can use these over and over and over again, but if once they get dirty, you don't have to go and buy a new one, you can keep using them. So alright then, I got it plugged in. Let's screw this on. We're gonna start with this one. So it tells us the RPM to use. This is the what is this? No, this is the wrong. Oh no, yeah, this is the right one. This is the twisted wool pad. So this is a little bit higher RPM. This machine doesn't come with like a RPM chart or anything. So you just kind of sit between 1 and 3. You can kind of feel how it like bogs down, and you can kind of finesse it on the edges. So all right, you also want to get a rag so you can clean it up. But before we even started this, I already washed it down with a bit of water. You can do soap too, but I think water is good enough usually. And then you can come around with an alcohol pad and clean off all like the residue. So I cleaned that one up. This looks okay, I'm gonna leave that. But when you look down here, like if you see like tape residue and stuff, that comes off with alcohol usually. Alright, we shook it up. You can apply it to either the wing or the pad. I like to do it on the wing so then you know what areas you've gotten. So I like to do most of it and then come back and do the edge on like you'll do all this half, come back around and then get the edge. Because it's just kind of hard to reach all the way over here. And then you can go over spots that you didn't get very well. So let's look a little drop here. Put a little bit extra on like the dirtier spots. And I would only do one section at a time. You don't have to go and put all this. That should be plenty for now. A little bit more. And one of these bottles should last you the whole plane. I've done that wing, both sides, and also the horizontal stabilizer. And then after I finish this, I'm gonna do the fuselage. But yeah, I found one of these is like what, a 1 liter bottle. Yeah, this lasted the whole plane. Alright, so we always want to make sure that we know which way it's spinning. So this one, you can see the arrow, it's spinning right. I think they all spin clockwise. So we're gonna always want this to come off the edge, and you also want to have it at an angle so that this edge won't come and pick it back up. And it's also much easier to control when you have it on like a little angle here. So we'll always go like that edge. If you have it this, it might pick it up and move it off these sawhorses here, and that would not be good. It can also rip up your ailerons. So yeah, when we're doing this, we can just have it on this edge here, and it'll just brush off. It won't do anything. And then if we want to hit the other edge, we can go like that. So let's get this moving around here. Yeah, on like 2, that should work. Alright, let's get it going. So you can focus in the same spots until it gets clean. Just don't leave it too much, because if it heats up, it can the fibers can like come through the gel coat. So you don't want to stay on the same spot for too long. So you can go over it a little bit, but when it starts feeling warm, move on, and you can come back and get it again. I don't know if you saw there, but these light scratches and stuff come out easily. So I'm coming off the edge here. This is the spar. I didn't really get it well in the other one, but I think I'll just go over it real quick. But this is where, you know, it's rubbing on the plane the most. You want to get this at least waxed. So I'm gonna keep going over this area, see if I can get this scratch to go away. I think I'll be able to. Let's keep it. And then when we need more, move it around. Get over there. See, I'll come back and get this edge again. And that's where a lot of the bugs will be along the leading edge here. So that's where you'll wanna focus. Alright, so we got most of it off here. This started to heat up, so I moved past this. But after you get it all cleaned up, make sure you get a rag and come and wipe it all up. And do this for this step and the next step. But we want to get all that stuff off. And you can go in circles. Don't worry about swirls and stuff. That'll all come off the next step. Make sure you get it pretty good. You can see a little bit of a difference here. If you come down to the end, I usually find that's the best way to tell how you're doing. Alright, I'm gonna do the rest of this wing here, and then I'll come back to you guys for the polish step. Alright, see you. Hey guys, it's Future Joe here. I just wanted to make a quick note. I'm not sponsored to use these Forvetla products. I thought they were pretty good. I was originally gonna hard wax, so I bought a bar of hard wax. But that's not gonna really work well with this polisher. If you do want to do that, you can watch the Navboys video. They're pretty good at it. And their video also had some good tips. But yeah, I'm using Forvetla. You can also use 3M. I heard that's pretty good, but that would be 4 steps, and this is only 3. So that's why I went with this instead. Also, these pads have different cutting abilities, so this is like really. This one cuts really well. You can see on let me get the other bottle here. So yeah, this one cuts pretty well. You can see this is the twisted wool. It's got cuts and gloss a little bit. The lamb's wool one, which is this one doesn't cut as much, but it's a little bit more glossy, and you can see that on this step. So once you get to the polish, which I'm almost done cutting here. Once you get to the polish, you can use the lamb's wool, or you can use the finishing foam. I for the land tool, because you get a little bit cutting and get the rest of the stuff you missed a little bit. And it also makes it really glossy. And then for the wax, you can just apply it by hand. You can use like a foam pad, but I find it just kind of sprays it everywhere. But it can work too, so either one. Okay, we finished doing all that. We wiped everything off, and it's looking pretty good. We got almost all the scratches off. Now you can see all this is on the pad here, so we gotta take this off. It's just Velcro, and throw it in our bucket of water. You can put soap in this, but you know, you don't really need soap. Warm water helps, but cold water works just fine. So just kind of like massage it around. You can see it's starting to come off. Got most of it off there. We're gonna pick it up our machine. It's kind of off center, but it doesn't really matter. You can see it. You can see the hairs will come off a little bit. Look at that! It's nice and clean now. And then we can leave this to dry and switch. This needs a our next pad is a different size, so we gotta switch this one out. And I'm gonna actually leave this attached. I don't want that to fall. Alright, let's grab this one. This one, it's a little bit off center. We can fix that inside though. Alright, spin it left. And then you're gonna hold this button down. Now it's locked. Then we can get this more in center. Otherwise it'll kind of go wonky. Yeah, that's probably good enough. Alright, I'm gonna grab our next one, which is this gray one. And this one's gonna be a little bit lower RPM. This will get all the swirls off and also make it more glossy. And this one, it took me a while to figure out like how you're supposed to really use it. You kind of gotta keep moving your thing until it starts to feel smooth and really slippery. So you kind of gotta work it in a lot more, from what I found. And sometimes it makes a big difference and sometimes not so much, but yeah. This one's a little bit more liquidy. Alright, same process here. Oh, one thing I forgot to note is to not wear the best clothes. I mean, they'll kind of spray off on your pants. I found it comes off in the wash, so it's not a huge deal, but don't wear like super nice clothes when you're doing this. Alright, let's put down to 1. And if you feel this ever start to bod, you can put it up to like 2. I think the last time I checked on 3, which was probably a little bit too high, but. And here's my bodding, and right now it's pretty tough to move. Let's keep spreading it out. You can feel the resistance becomes less. Hey guys, so that would have been the end of the polishing step. I got really busy working on this contest ID vinyl on the bottom of the wing, and by this time it was starting to get kind of like rainy outside. So I had my brother help me hold the umbrella, and I was watching the wing in the rain. But we got it all done, and it looks great now. Here are a couple before and after pics, just so you guys can see how it worked on the other parts of the plane. I still have to do the fuselage, but after that, it should be done hard waxing and can move on the other stuff. Thanks for watching, guys. If you have any questions, put them down below. This was my first time doing this, so if you have any tips or what I did wrong, yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. See ya.